Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new to my channel, I make content about buying and selling Pokemon cards. If you want to see more content from me, subscribe. And if you like this video, I'd appreciate if you do smash that like button. So the first thing I'm going to start off with this video is answering a question that I've seen a lot of, and that is, how can I send cards to you, right? If you want to sell me your cards, what do you do? So I'm going to go over that. I'm going to answer a couple more questions that I've been seeing around, and I'm going to give you guys an update as to my journey as being a reseller. I'm trying to see if I can do this full time right now, so I'll give you guys an update on that. And lastly, if you think of any questions that you want to ask me, drop it in this video. So comment on this video. I'm going to see if I have enough questions to make a Q&A video, spend a whole video about your questions and answer them. So the first question I want to answer right now is, how can you send your Pokemon cards to me? Now, depending on how many Pokemon cards is how you would go about it. If you have massive amounts, 6,000 or more, then this is the route. You go to your post office, you buy a large flat rate box. It looks, well, it'll be flat, then you make it and it's free. And what you do after you make your box is you get your Pokemon cards, and there are a bunch of different methods. You can either get team bags, put them in team bags, and then you can place them together in this box. This way, the bags help protect the corners, right? Another method that I've seen is people use paper, just wrap around paper, get like a stack of 50 or so, get a piece of paper, wrap it around it. That also works, something to wrap around. Another way that I've seen, which I'm gonna show you as well, is recently I bought a box. This is something I've never seen, of all the cards packed together and then made a contraption on the sides so they don't move at all. That could also work. The main goal when you're trying to send cards to me or anywhere else is that you're trying to get these cards to make it there in near mint condition or as close as possible. Buyers are going to want to have these cards as near mint. I will, right? So the name of the game is to make it so it doesn't move. You're trying to pack these cards in any way that you can so that there's no space in there for it to move. These boxes are heavy, and I have got so many of them throughout the years, and most of them are really beat up. Like you will be surprised at how beat up these boxes can get. Even size that are not even meant to be open will somehow break up and be open. It's because these boxes are super heavy, so these people are literally throwing these around, sliding them around. They don't want to, they know it's, right, probably bulk. Anyways, that's what you do. You put put these in flat rate boxes if it's more than 6,000. If you have around 1,000 or so cards, which reverses and holos would make this worth it, you can get something like this, a flat rate envelope. Flat rate is the way, because this doesn't matter about weight. It's just what you can fit in here. So about 1,000 or 2,000 cards, you can put it in flat rate envelopes. Everything else, there are also medium flat rate boxes. So I showed you guys a large one. You can also go with medium, somewhere in between 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 or so. All right, so that's what I'd recommend to get these cards out to me. Now I'm gonna go over some updates on my reselling journey. Now, first update of my reselling journey is that I've been adding more cards, sorting more cards, listing more cards. Now, recently I had mentioned in a video that that if you are more active on the platform, the algorithm will like you better. And someone asked me to elaborate more about that. And I saw someone commented that is a seller's conspiracy theory. And I want to give my own 2 cents about it. Now, everything that I say on this channel is from my perspective, my opinions, my experiences. So it could definitely not be the case for you. I always am open to seeing different viewpoints, correcting myself if I'm wrong. Now, what I meant by this is that I'm a tcgplayer direct seller. So what that means is that I can list cards and be part of the tcgplayer direct program. And then when the tcgplayer direct sells these cards, I'll send cards back to me. send the cards back to them, right? Now, I'm not the only seller in TCG Player Direct. There's a bunch of sellers. What happens when there are a bunch of sellers that have the same card and even for the exact same price? I know that this is a common thing that people will price their inventory at TCG Player Direct or low, TCG Player low. So it can happen that a lot of sellers have the same card for the same price. So what I meant about the algorithm is that part, right? Because if you just list a card out in TCG Player, there's really no algorithm to help you out. It's mainly your cost basis, how much you're offering the card for is what people usually will go after, what's in your inventory. But when you're a TCG Player Direct seller, it's a little bit different because there's a lot of sellers, like I just mentioned, that might have the card for the same price. And when you go into TCG Player, there's going to be one at the very top. You can buy this card from TCG Player Direct, and it says the name of the seller, and it makes it so easy for you to just click on that card at the very top, buy, right, from TCG Player Direct. They are picking a vendor, a seller, to promote at that time, right? So that's what I mean about if you're active on the platform and you're listing or you're marking orders as sent out, then you're going to be more favorable for that TCG Player Direct seller being on the top. I also have a theory, and these are theories because I'm not part of TCG Player. I don't have access to their algorithms or inner workings, but I do have a background in computer science. I have a degree in it, and I also have my own site, so I do feel like I have some sort of understanding of how this works. So that's what I meant. And I also think there's also more factors that go into it. For example, I'm based off in Washington State, and I've been seeing a lot of sales that I do through TCG Player Direct be based off Washington State. So I think geographically plays a part into it as well. That's just my quick 2 cents though. Again, I don't have direct access to the inner workings. I don't work for TCG Player Direct. Just what I think is happening, what I've seen, my experiences. So I wanted to give you guys that update. And I've been listing more cards. Now, what type of cards have I been listing? Cards that try to sell. I only have 21,000 inventory cards, so you might think that's not a lot. I can go right now and list a bunch of bulk, get it to 50,000 or so, but that's really not my goal. It actually takes more time to sort through and list reverses and holos because there are less of them, right? When you go through a set of commons of non-holos, you're expecting to find hundreds or even 200s of a single card, increasing your inventory by a lot quickly. Then when you're working with reverses and holos, you're getting like 3 or 4 maybe of a card. So the time that it takes doesn't really translate to the number of cards. But I've been trying to list things carefully, strategically. And what I find that sells the most is older stuff like XY, older than Sword and Shield. So Sun and Moon, XY, even older vintage stuff as well. Promos. I find that sells really good and really fast. Reverses, non-holos of those sets, of those eras work really well. So I'm right now I'm listing or sorting a bunch of them to be listed, and also trainers of any era. Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet is what I've been listing. And I've been trying to find more of those. Once I go through all those, then I'll go into everything else, the bulk. Once I have all of my non-holos, which will only add like a couple thousand more to my inventory, it'll be easy to then add 10,000, 20,000 of the non-holo cards, which really doesn't really sell too fast, which is why I don't prioritize it, but it is good to have in your inventory. A couple of things that I want to leave you guys off with is right now, fams, if you go to Walmart, I'm making this on Friday, April 5th, right? Friday, April 5th. If you go to the Walmart website, you can buy 151 booster bundles right now for $28. To me, that is mind-blowing fact, because I've been seeing this for $40 at the local card store. And if you're a reseller, usually on the weekends, I get more sales. So right now it's Friday. I'm going to try to really pump out a bunch of new inventory so that this weekend I can get even more sales. Those are some things to think about. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Geodude, smash that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.